To continue on with the AC method. In this case, I'm still labeling A, B, and C. It's just that A is 3, B is -7, and C is -6. So I'm still taking A times C. It's just that I'm taking a 6 times a negative, or 3 times a -6, which is -18. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to be -18 and add up to be -7. So one of them's positive and one of them's negative, and I have to be careful which one's which. So if I do a -2 and a +9, that multiplies to be -18, but it adds up to be regular 7, +7. So I only want a +2 and a -9. And I can choose to put these in whatever order I want to, but the 2 has to be positive and the 9 has to be negative. So if I split this up into 2x minus 9x, I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem. 3x squared plus 2x minus 9x minus 6. And so then I'm going to factor by grouping. So if I understood factoring by grouping, then this AC method, getting up to this point, it's what's new. After that, it's totally factoring by grouping, which is why we went out of order so that you know how to factor by grouping. So 3x squared and 2x just have an x in common. And when I factor out an x, I'm left with 3x plus 2. And then -9x and -6, when I think about what they have in common, keeping in mind that I want the parentheses to match, I'm going to factor out a -3 because then I'm left with a positive 3x plus 2. So then 3x plus 2 and x minus 3. And I can always factor, I have no idea how I did that. Hold on. I can always factor or FOIL this out and see if that it works out, and it will. If I do first times first, hour times hour, I don't have to, but I always can check my work. So number 5, I'm just going to split it up or switch it up so then that way we're not too used to x's. So let's do 9 y squared plus 3y plus 2, or I'm sorry, minus 2. Hopefully you're working in pencil if you're following along. Minus 2. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can do this problem. And then when you push play, we'll go over it. So A times C is -18. So the two numbers that multiply to be a -18 and add up to be 3 are a +6 and a -3. So you might have put the 3 first. And that's okay as long as the 3 is negative. So 9y squared plus 6y minus 3y minus 2. Or you might have put 9y squared minus 3y plus 6y minus 2. And you'll actually get the same thing no matter what order you go in. You get, let's see here, 9y squared minus 3y plus 6y, is it minus 2? Yeah. So when I take out a 3y, I get 3y minus 1. And when I take out a 2, I get 3y minus 1. So no matter what, you get 3y minus 1 and 3y plus 2. Just what order they're in might be different, but that is the answer. 3y minus 1 and 3y plus 2. Okay, so what number are we on? Number 6 says, where am I at? We've got 14x squared plus 31x plus 15. Okay, so when I take A times C, I'm taking 14 times 15, and I've got my calculator here, I get 210. And so the only annoying thing about this is that I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to be 210 and add up to be 31. Well, let's think about some things. It's not 1 and 210. It's not 2 and 105. Is 210 divisible by 3? 70, so no, but I'm getting closer. 210 divided by 4 is not a whole number. 210 divided by 5 is 42, so that doesn't add up to be 31, but I'm getting closer. 210 divided by 6 is 35. So 6 and 35, no, but I'm getting closer. 210 divided by 7, 7 and 30, still no. Okay, 210 divided by 8 is not a whole number. 210 divided by 9 is not a whole number. 210 divided by 10 is 21. And those work. So the two numbers that multiply, okay, multiply to be, I don't want to do that, 210 and add up to be 31 are 10 and 21. So I'm going to split this into 10x and 21x. So 14x squared plus 10x plus 21x plus 15. You might put the 21x first. That's totally fine. So 14x squared and 10x has a 2x in common. So they're left with 7x plus 5. And then 21 and 15 have a 3 in common. So they're left with 7x plus 5. So I get 7x plus 5 and 2x plus 3. So it might take a little bit of time to find the two numbers that work, but they're always possible in these problems. They'll always be possible. So let's try one more problem. We've got 6x squared plus x minus 12. So a times c is 6 times negative 12, which is negative 72. So what is the coefficient in front of here? If I was in class, I would wait for your answer, but technically there's a 1 right there. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to be negative 72 and add up to be negative 1. And so if you're thinking 8 and 9, I like the idea, but let's be careful about where we put the negative. Do I want the 8 to be negative or do I want the 9 to be negative? Well, in order to add up to be a positive 1, I want the 9 to be negative. So I'm going to do 6x squared minus 8x plus 9x minus 12. So 6x squared minus 8x, take out a 2x, I'm left with 3x minus 4. And then 9x squared, I'm going to take out, or 9x minus 12, I'm going to take out a 3, and I'm left with 3x minus 4. So I get 3x minus 4 and 2x plus 3, and that is my answer. So in the next video, I will talk about a factoring strategy that's called the difference of two squares.